everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 76993, Sonic vs. Dr. Eggman's Death Egg Robot from the LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog theme. This set contains 615 pieces, 2 minifigures, and retails for $59.99 in the US, as well as $64.99 in most places in Europe. This video is my first ever LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog review, and I had a lot of people in the comments asking me to review this set. So if you want to see more LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog reviews on the channel, make sure to let me know in the comments, and also leave a like on this video, and if there's a lot of interest, I'll cover the rest of the wave. But now let's get into this review. So before we get into the main build of the set, let's take a look at the play feature in this build right here. This is the main gimmick of the Sonic set's the Speed Sphere, and this build around it is the Speed Sphere launcher. So taking a look at the Speed Sphere itself, you can see it uses these very circular pieces. I believe these are all new for this wave, and 2 of them are connected together, and you can see Sonic himself's on the inside. Now this is very easy to crack open, and that way I can of course remove the Sonic the Hedgehog minifigure, but this is the right size to fit pretty much any minifigure that you want, so if you want to swap Sonic out for another character, you can. But yeah, you basically just place him in that little divot right there and then close this back up around him, and then you load him into the launcher. The launcher itself uses a few rubber pieces at the bottom just to help keep it in place so it doesn't slide around too much. And then you can see they use the Speed Sphere piece again right here, though this time it has like the star logo on it, and that's what you're meant to slam down on, so you can sort of just hit that with your fist or your hand or whatever you want, and the harder that you hit that, the further Sonic will fly. So now let me demonstrate. There we go, he just flew up my light box. Let's do it just one more time. Yeah. I've been messing around with this a lot off camera, and honestly, I find it to be a lot of fun. Because as the name may suggest, you actually do build up a lot of speed like Sonic really launches. But the fact that he's in the Speed Sphere helps keep the minifigure safe. I think this is actually a pretty good implementation of the idea of Sonic running really fast. In my opinion, this is just really well done. Now this also does interact with some of the other builds in the set, including the main build of the set, so now let's take a look at those. So here's the main build of the set, the Death Egg Robot, and it's like this giant mech for Dr. Eggman. Now I find myself covering mechs a lot on this channel. Ninjago has a lot of mechs, and I cover mechs from other themes too, but I have to say, as far as mechs go, this is actually a very unique one. I absolutely love the shape of it. It's got this big bulky body and these short stubby legs, but then the arms are like proper cannons. I don't know, to me it just feels like it's really mixing up the mech formula, and it was very refreshing to build. I had a lot of fun with it. Starting at the legs and feet of the mech, I love how cartoony everything looks. It's all very smooth, there's really not too many studs showing, and it definitely feels like it fits in the bright colorful world of Sonic. The feet connect onto the legs on a ball joint, and there's a little bit of articulation there, not a ton, but I think for this style of mech, that's perfectly fine. Obviously, this mech's not meant to be super agile, so as long as you're able to move it a little bit, that's perfectly fine with me, and this feels like what this mech should be able to do. But then the legs themselves connect onto the body with the rigid Technic joints, so you can move those forward and back as well as rotate them out if you want. Both legs are exactly identical, so there's nothing different about the other one. But yeah, as I said, I love that cartoony feel, but it also feels quite mechanical. I like how they're not afraid to have a little bit of gray in here, but the gray feels intentional. It doesn't feel like something that's peeking through. Then coming up to the body, fantastic shaping to all of this. Again, very smooth, not too many studs showing, but I just love the roundness of it all. It fits Dr. Eggman perfectly. Very smooth transition from the front over to the sides too. There's no like massive gaps or anything, which makes me happy to see. There is a little jetpack around the back, which is a neat touch, and I like these printed parts on the sides. And then coming up above the body, we of course have the head of the mech, and this is probably my favorite part. It's a giant brick-built version of Dr. Eggman's face, and I think this was captured so well. They used just a classic LEGO cone piece as his nose, brick-built mustache around the side, and he even has 2 all-new printed parts for his eyes. That's such an iconic and immediately recognizable appearance, and it's built using pretty standard LEGO parts. And then like this large dome behind it works to be like his head. However, of course, that dome also serves a secondary purpose because you can open it up and there's a minifigure inside, and that's of course where Dr. Robotnik himself sits. Inside you can see there's some trans red tiles just to be like a little control panel, a few studs for Robotnik to actually sit on, and because Robotnik himself is bigger than a normal LEGO minifigure, you could fit a normal minifigure in here, but it's also of course built to fit his larger proportions. You just sit him down, plop him in like this. His arms do hang out around the sides, but that's fine because the dome goes around that. And there we go, the trans black does hide him away quite a bit, but you still can see him. But yeah, all of that is pretty perfect in my opinion. Then coming to the arms around the sides, both are very similar, though with some very slight differences on the end. They're built in 2 separate sections. We have like an upper arm and then we have the hand at the bottom, and each of them are on a full-size ball joint. I like these circular shoulder pads that add like a perfect splash of color, but it still keeps that very robotic look that the mech has going for it underneath. And then getting down to the arms, once again, everything's very smooth, like there's no studs at all. And then there's sort of like a yellow wristband at the end, and this can spin. And you've got like a triple imaginary cannon right here. This uses like the small LEGO Star Wars astromech droid headpieces with cone pieces on top. And I know I'm saying this a lot in this video, but I don't know, that perfectly captures like that very cartoony feel. That feels like it could be a cannon, but it's not like overly realistic. It's all very smooth and sleek. It fits the aesthetic of the Sonic games really well in my opinion. And then if we come to the arm on the other side, you can see it's mostly the same exact design, except when we get to the end of the hand right here, instead of that cannon, we have a 6-stud stud shooter. So this one's not imaginary, you can't actually shoot this one out. And you do that by spinning this yellow piece, because by default it can only spin so much, but if I push it and force it to spin more, those studs will shoot out. And then finally, there's one more play feature with this mech, and that ties in with the Speed Sphere. But the idea is you're supposed to have the Speed Sphere hit the mech in the belly right here, and that'll actually push this jetpack part out at the back. With that removed, you can see there's 2 jumper pieces here, and that's where you can attach some of the little animals that come in this set. So I guess the idea is that Eggman has stolen these animals and he's hiding them inside the mech, and Sonic has to break the mech open to save them. I'll actually show you that in action with the Speed Sphere in a moment, but first I want to go through the other builds of this set. Real quick though, there's how the inside of the Eggman mech looks with that removed. But now taking a look at the side builds in this set real quick, the first one's this little research lab right here. There's like a lever on the side which can be moved up and down. This gemstone, which I think might be meant to be one of the Chaos Emeralds. Not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure. And then like this little enclosure area, which is very strange because like this top dome piece isn't actually connected anywhere. I had to triple check the instructions to see if I built that right, but no, this doesn't really connect, it just sort of sits there. And I'm not entirely sure the point of that is. Maybe you're supposed to hit this with a speed sphere and knock it off. But yeah, you have to sort of hold it in place if you want to just open up the top. But you can see there's just some room in there where you can store things. The little animal characters in the set do fit in there, so that's an option you have, I guess, if you want. But I can't say I'm entirely sure I know what that's supposed to be doing. I will say I'm not the most familiar on Sonic lore. I do like the characters in the world. I think it's fun. But I haven't played a ton of the game, so like these little animal characters, I'm not sure who they are. So all of this could be a reference to something I'm just not getting. So if you guys are getting something out of this set that I'm not, feel free to educate me in the comments, because I would like to learn a little bit more. And then the final few side builds are really not all too much. This is a little ramp for the Speed Sphere to launch off of. Definitely cool for play, but there's not much to it. That is a printed part that does come in quite a few sets, but still nice to get. Then these are just a few spikes to be an obstacle to launch over. But again, this is literally just 7 pieces. And then this is an all new part for this wave, a ring for Sonic to collect. And I think it was done pretty well. And you can see it's just on a trans clear piece to hold it up. But now let's see if I can get this play feature to work as it's supposed to. So the idea is I hit this, I launch the Speed Sphere, it goes up this ramp over the spikes, and then it hits Eggman in the chest, and that drops the jetpack out the back. So let's give it a try. Nope. Okay, hit Eggman that time, but I didn't launch anything. I'm gonna move the spikes out of the way because I feel like I'm not getting enough air on the ramp, and they're just slowing me down. Okay, I've somehow knocked that disc piece off his hand twice, but still haven't hit the belly. I did it again, wow. Okay, let's try it without the ramp. There we go, finally. I will say, if you guys get this set, that will be easier for you guys than it was right here. It's always awkward for me to do play features like this in my lightbox because I have to reach around my camera. I still don't think the ramp and the spikes work the best, but actually just getting Sonic to hit, that's not that tough. But I think that's about everything for the build of this set, so now let's take a look at the minifigures. Now here's a look at the 2 full minifigures in this set. We of course have Sonic and Dr. Eggman. Neither of these figures are exclusive to this set, but they're both all new for this wave, and they're both pretty well done. Starting with Sonic, he's a very similar design to his original design from LEGO Dimensions, but they have swapped things up a little bit. I like the printing that he has on the sides of his shoes now, and the dual molded legs with the red and the blue look fantastic. The molded head is the same exact one from Dimensions, but it is pretty much perfect. And I think there's a good expression to him here, just like a casual smirk. Definitely fits Sonic's personality. My only complaint with this figure is the printing on the belly right here. Now this is an issue with a lot of LEGO figures, but you can see it's just a little bit too light. It doesn't match his arms or his mouth. And I just wish that it was printed a little bit thicker, a little bit darker, so that way that color was more vibrant and matched everything a bit better. It's not the biggest deal in the world, and a lot of LEGO figures do that nowadays. But I don't know, when we only have 2 figures in a $60 set, the fact that they're not both perfect is a little lame to see. Overall though, I'd say this figure's pretty good. For the first full wave of Sonic sets, I think this guy's fantastic. He's even got the little tail printing out the back, so I'm fairly satisfied with him. But then the really interesting figure is Dr. Eggman right here. Now this is an incredibly wacky figure because we had the brick-built Eggman like a year or 2 ago, whenever it was that the Idea Sonic set came out, and that figure I was not a fan of at all. I thought that looked terrible. But this figure uses an all-new molded part for his body, his face, as well as his arms, and then he uses the longer avatar legs. So this figure is very wacky and out there for LEGO, but you know what? It actually works. The actual Eggman does have very skinny long legs. The use of this piece helps keep him taller than Sonic, and it does a good job to capture his proportions while keeping him feeling like a LEGO figure. The printing on his torso piece is fantastic. There's a few different colors used, including like metallic silver, which that's always nice to see. And then his head's actually dual molded onto his body, and that's something I'm a little bit disappointed by maybe. I think I would have preferred if the head was like a separate molded piece that you can remove. That way you could swap it around with other LEGO figures, because that's what LEGO's about, customizability. That probably wouldn't have looked as good, but I still think it could have looked decent. But I think what we got here is a fine compromise, and the texture of everything is fantastic. The arms, of course, can be moved just like a normal minifigures. And while the arms themselves are bigger, it is just standard minifigure hands at the end, and these arms can actually be removed from the torso entirely, too. They just connect on with Technic pins similarly to some of the LEGO Super Mario characters, but I feel like these arms in particular open up a lot of options for more characters in the future, so I'm curious to see who else they're going to be used on. So yeah, while I have very minor criticisms with both of these figures, I think overall they're fantastic, and they're both perfect inclusions in this set. And of course, that's it for the full minifigures, but we do still have a few more characters in this set. So we have the brick-built Cubot robot, and then this little bird right here. As I mentioned with the animals in this set, I don't know their names or the lore behind them, so if anybody wants to educate me in the comments, feel free. I did a little bit of research online, couldn't find anything, but I'm sure sure some of you Sonic fans in the audience will be able to let me know. Anyway, though, starting with Cubot, I actually think this build's pretty good. I looked up what he looks like in the actual Sonic universe, and this is a pretty good representation considering it's all brick built and there's no like printed parts or anything. He just uses the Battle Droid body in yellow and the Skulking arms in black, and then a couple very basic pieces, but he uses like the roller skate to be the eyes. I think is perfect. And I think this is just a fun, easy way to add an extra character to the set. And then the little bluebird is cute. It's nice to get exclusive printing for the animals in the Sonic sets, but at least personally, I'm not crazy about this one. And then here are the last two animals. We have a bright orange turtle as well as a teal rabbit or hamster. I'm not sure exactly what this is. The turtle's actually pretty cute. I do like the design on him. You can see it's just got some great printing on his shell around the back, and I believe these pieces originate from LEGO Friends, so they all have accessory holes in the tops of their heads. And then the rabbit has a cute little exclusive print too. Definitely feels like it fits in the Sonic world. I definitely like these two more than the bird, but of course, obviously, the minifigure is the most interesting part of this set. But overall, what are my thoughts on this set? I think this set's really good, honestly. I had a ton of fun building it, and even just playing with it in this review, I genuinely really enjoyed. Now, I don't think the set's perfect. There is a few small issues with it. Number one would be the price. The price isn't terrible. $60 does seem fair, especially considering the piece count, but that's just it. It's a fair price, not a good price. I feel like a few years ago, this definitely would have been a $50 set, but all LEGO's more expensive nowadays, so I guess that makes sense. But that sort of ties in with my next complaint, is that if they're gonna charge $60 for it, I kind of wish it came with at least one more minifigure. Both Amy and Tails only come in 2 sets this wave, so it would have been very easy to throw one or even both of them in here. Now I know the idea behind that is they want you to get multiple sets, they don't want you to just get one set, but I don't know, only 2 minifigures for $60 does feel a little bit lame. Still though, this is the most unique mech that I've built in a long time, and I do actually quite enjoy the Speed Sphere play feature. It does come in some of the smaller sets too, but at least in the context of this set, I think it works pretty well, and I had a lot of fun just launching it. So as my first introduction to the LEGO Sonic theme, I think this is a fantastic set, and if the rest of the sets are like this one, I look forward to getting more in the future. Speaking of, as I mentioned earlier in this video, if you want to see more Sonic reviews on the channel, make sure to let me know in the comments, and also let me know which Sonic sets you want to see a review on. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!